a renowned figure in the automotive scene in the Philippines, I think, for many years now. You're a familiar face. How did you start? How did
Ah,
you get into the automotive journalism scene?
well, that was by accident and a very pleasant accident, of course. I was in radio for my beginning of my career here. Because I literally came back from Australia because I wanted to start my life here, my career. Because I was born and raised here, but then we went to Australia for about 12 years. And then when my family moved back, I thought, okay, let's go back to where it all started. This is my home and this is where I want to make my life. So I came back with the dream of radio, and radio, I got that job eventually, and it was wonderful, but it just didn't pay as well as you needed. I mean, it's just not an industry here that really pays well. I mean, there are a few exceptions to that rule, but generally speaking, it's not enough to raise a family on, especially back in 1999 and 2000, etc. So it was while I was at the radio station at a crossroads on whether to renew my contract or not. I was approached by a childhood friend who said they're starting a car magazine. They didn't have one yet. They didn't print one yet. They didn't have business cards yet, but they were talking about it. And he knew from as a kid that I was always into cars. So he just said, "Would you like to join us?" That was it. So it was just pure luck in that regard because I had no experience in publishing. I didn't have any experience in writing. I didn't have any pedigree or qualifications in the space. But good thing was neither did they. So it was like the blind leading the blind. And back then, maybe it was the perfect time for it, but C Magazine was born, and I jumped in on the first issue, and then I rode that wave for about 12 or 12 years, 13 years, and then I decided to put a bet on myself, and maybe I can take this to a different level with my own brand, because I could also see at that time that magazines, the publishing industry it was a sunset period. I could kind of see the writing on the wall. In 2013, the question I had to ask myself is, are we going to be more digital or less digital next year and the year after? And the answer was simple. It's going to be more digital. So where are you going to put all your energy? Are you going to put it into the publishing space or the online space? And so then I went online and I built my own brand.
So that was early 2000s when you started.
2013, and then I launched my webpage January of 2014.
But ever since, you've always been familiar with Filipino culture,
Oh yeah, yeah.
so you understood Filipinos
Of
well.
course, of course. More than any other culture, this is my culture. So I know I don't quite look it, but this is what I'm familiar with. Like if I was to go to England, which is technically where I'm from, if you wanted to, I'm British, but I'm a foreigner there. I'm a tourist there. I wouldn't know what the first thing and how I wouldn't even know how to catch the bus or anything. I don't know because I'm not exposed to that culture. I just happen to have a passport, but that's it.
So now, what can you say about the changes in the automotive industry,
Wow, this is
given the rise of China brands, all
oh,
these
that's
new
a good. This is
players?
wow. When I first joined, we were selling 60,000 cars a year. And the goal was to try to hit 100. If we could hit 100, that would be a milestone for the car industry. And now we're almost 500,000. So it's crazy. What I can say is that we are in a brand new era of motoring and automotive. And the legacy brands have to really be very careful here because this is the time when market shares can really go crazy because
Legacy, you mean the mainstream ones?
well, when I say that the mainstream legacy brands, it's not enough anymore to say we what got us here will get us there, or what we've been doing so far is what we'll keep doing. It's not anymore the same playing field because it's coming at a crossroads for me that it's not this influx of China brands has come at a time where the new generation care less and less about actual driving. So it's a perfect storm in a way because you have brands like that spend all their energy on engineering and research and development and technology and stuff that means nothing now in today's driver. They're like, well, how big is the screen? How does it connect to my phone? May sunroof ba siya? may auto park feature ba siya, may GPS ba siya, may you know, you're now it's like you're comparing an appliance.
Yeah.
And so this has fundamentally changed. So what I mean by the legacy brands is you can't keep saying, well, we have the best engineering, we've been doing that, because it's something that people are caring less and less about. Then I also see a price war that's being created here, and I think we are talking offline about how the industry is growing, but not at the same rate that the market is. Meaning, sorry, the players are.
Mm.
So I think February was at 22% year-on-year increase, but I would pretty much bet that there's more than 22% of players now in the Chinese bracket, especially. So the pie is not getting bigger, like you said, but they're more sharing in it.
Yeah, they're just eating each other
Yes.
up.
And if you were at the Mias this last April, you would have seen, even as a car enthusiast, there were so many brands I didn't recognize. And that's the first time I think I've ever,
New players, right?
new players, like I was like, what? I've never even heard of this brand. And I'm someone entrenched in the industry. So I can imagine what your average buyer is faced with now.